from east to west. Heroes are sent, seeking glory in the greatest of events. There are knights on noble steeds, those who will bring them to their knees. There are monsters to test their mettle at every turn. Legends will rise based on their merits. There's even pirates riding parrots. It's the grand tournament.
Welcome back, everyone, to the StarLadder series for Hearthstone. You know, LAN finals. We're live from Kiev right now with me, Aqua Blood. I keep saying Aqua Blade, but it's actually Aqua Blood casting with me.
Aqua something, right?
I'll call you Aqua from now on.
Yeah, just call me Aqua.
How's that? You can call me anything you want.
No, don't give you that power, man. Don't give you that power.
So we're just done casting the fourth match, I think, of the day, and we're onwards to the next one, which is Cipher versus Orange. We saw Orange play earlier. He got a convincing win, actually, against his opponent, against Colento. He
played Ties.
Against Ties in the first round. He almost got reverse swept, and he didn't feel too confident in his Tempo Mage, right? He kept saying that that wasn't a deck that I mean, it was fine, it worked out, but he was very, you know, uncomfortable with his future performance, and now he's going to have to replay it, this time against Cipher.
It's a deck he wanted banned, I think, more than anything. And he's playing the casino variant, you know, with the spell slingers and the portals. He's actually not running a Grand Champion. He said he doesn't like that in there. But, you know, Tempo Mage has kind of been quite iffy in this tournament. It's kind of not performing as well as, say, the NA scene has been finding with it. But we do have what do we have now? Cipher versus Orange, like you said. Cipher also lost to Stan Sifka, 3-0. Right. Very tough defeat for him there. The Freeze Mage actually beating the Patron Warrior, actually just grinding him out of ways to defeat him. Yeah, I mean, I think the surprise factor was a really big deal in that case. We'll see if Cipher is able to really win with Patron this time. He didn't get a single win with it in the last series. First of all, we'll watch one of those two players give us their thoughts about, you know, how they've been doing in Kiev and maybe about the event a little bit. So we'll be right back. Enjoy the video.
I think everyone has a chance in Hearthstone to make it through to the end. And when I was told I was playing StarLadder, I put 100% into it. I studied very, very hard of each of my opponents, because in the first stage, you knew exactly who was in your group. So yeah, I was very, very lucky to make it through, actually, because I technically didn't qualify the first time. Someone had to drop out, and me and Lostov had to play to figure out who would come. And yeah, I was very, very lucky to actually be able to compete here. Oh, it was off stream, yes. And I actually lost to him, which was very unfortunate. But then, because of such short notice, he wasn't able to get a visa. So I had 5 chances to make it. Twice in the group, I failed, and then I lost in the last chance against Colento, and I failed, and I got a chance against Lostov, and I failed. And so the fact I'm here, I'm really, really lucky, and definitely am not the favorite. Well, the match which is most memorable for me is I had a Hungry Crab from Web Spinner, and my opponent had a Bluegill drop from his Shredder, and I completely forgot about the interaction between Hungry Crab and Bluegill, and I forgot to eat the Murloc. And the casters were really, really upset with me, and afterwards I was really upset with myself. That was such a terrible thing to forget. I won the match anyway, because I was quite far ahead at that point, but yeah, that's something I'm definitely going to be kicking myself for a while. I think all players play ladder a lot for practice, but I think our team is actually one who plays a lot more custom games and is a lot more structured than most. We have a very big team. We break off. We all practice different matchups. We're all told about different decks we're meant to be practicing. If you know, a teammate thinks maybe you're not the best handlock player, they'll push you to play more handlock. If they think you're not the best Patron player, they'll push you to play more Patron. And yeah, we play a lot of custom games. And we do also a lot of kind of spectating other people play custom games and commentating, you know, on their mulligans, on the decision making. Would you have made a different play? Would that play have actually affected the outcome of the match and all that?
All right, so Cipher is, you know, as he said, he got through a lot to actually get here. I mean, he lost to Lostov with a pretty convenient name, and he ended up, you know, getting through to the event against all odds, he thought, and he's hoping still that he can make it work.
Yeah, and I mean, Cipher, he just spoke about his team, Fate Akama.
Right.
You know, drilling these kind of training exercises. I mean, one thing for Cipher that could really help him is kind of like Murloc interaction kind of exercises.
Yeah,
you know, he could really learn a lot from that. So maybe Fate Akama should take note. Send him through Murloc school, make him play some good old Warlock Zoo.
You just play like Paladin with Murloc Knight, and you've got like every single Murloc in one card.
Yeah, there we go. So maybe he just needs to rinse that Murloc Knight. But yeah, Cipher, you know, is a really nice guy. I met him for the first time this week, even though we're from the same country. So it was the first time I got to meet him. Very nice guy, and also, you know, he seems very dedicated as well. Yeah,
he's pretty chill. You know, very laid back. As far as Orange goes, you know, you pretty much all know him. I think at this point, you know, an Archon player got picked up last year for his amazing performance. You know, he got a really convincing, you know, lead on Thijs a little earlier today. He almost got reverse swept, but still got it. He wants to get another win under his belt. He wants to get back into the competitive scene. I mean, he's been around for a long time, and he does a lot of tournaments, but he wants to get another win. And if he's able to just steamroll everyone here, I mean, so far, you know, he's got the initial lead, the first win of the day, which is the momentum that he's looking for. I think there's a chance he takes it.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Orange getting that first win, like I said, is important. But for someone who's as hungry and as ambitious as him, like, momentum may be the key to him winning the whole tournament. But I'm sure Orange can tell us all about this sort of stuff in the video clip.
I'm not satisfied with my performance in the online stage of this tournament because I actually got knocked out. And I'm only here because one of the players in the finals dropped out. So I think that I personally could have performed a lot better in the online stage of this tournament. But I also, after analyzing my matches and my games, I know exactly what I could have done different to be more successful in those stages, and I think I can use that now in the finals to perform here instead. In the first group stage, I brought some my decks were not great. A warrior control, for example, was not tuned at all and played some cards that I definitely should not have played. That also was my downfall in the first group stage when I went 0-3 with my warrior control against one of the Russian players. In the Redemption series against Surrender that I lost to, I tracked the match and saw a couple of mistakes that could have eventually turned into a victory for me in that match. All the traveling and meeting all the people, that's definitely the best part of being a pro player. I'm one of the players that really likes practicing a lot, way more than most people do. Even for like smaller tournaments, I tend to practice for several days just to be well prepared for them. For this tournament, it's actually quite ironic because I didn't know that I would play in it until last night, so I haven't gotten time to practice at all. So this will be quite a new experience for me in this sort of tournament, coming in almost without any practice whatsoever. I actually had a losing streak here just a couple of months ago, and what I did was to just I tried to analyze when I had like a really good streak, what I did during that time. I tried to recreate that. For me, it meant a lot of more practice. I tried to rebound with some friends that I haven't talked to in a while, that I practiced a lot with during that time, and I just tried to go back in the old ways of when I won a lot, and eventually that worked, and now I feel like I'm in shape again.
And so Orange saying that practice is what made him good, he thinks, back when he got, you know, all the wins that he did. And he's back into that regime, I guess. So we'll see if the lack of practice for this tournament will make him suffer, or if alternatively he'll discover a new part of him where he can win without even practicing.
The less he practices, the better he does. I mean, that would be the dream, right? Just sit back, chill out, watch some TV, and then just turn to a tournament, and I'll just do good anyway. But both players have expressed that. They both know they have rooms to improve and grow as players, and they're going about it by practicing with teammates and partners and friends. And that's basically the key to being a professional player, is studying, working hard, finding the right people to interact with and practice with, and then you can get to where these guys are right now.
And then you get Dreadscale and Lord Walker Cho.
And then you get those guys too, and that takes a lot of skill. You need to play a lot of tournaments to get to that level.
Totally, absolutely.
Drawing wild growth every game, you know, it takes more practice than most, but, you know, we'll see.
Dice rolling is a precious skill. Now, again, you know, these two guys weren't supposed to be here initially. You know, Cipher got through as a result of other players not being able to attend as a result of, you know, visa issues, and Orange is substituting for Askaka, who also had to stay. So it turns out that this might be the battle of the unexpected, if anything, and I'm kind of liking the fact that this time around only one class, I mean, there's no Secret Paladin on either side, like even though Warrior's banned.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Orange has already shown his strengths today, apart from his Tempo Mage, and Cipher, we didn't really get to see everything
the Paladin,
from him.
I think. We saw the Patron, if I'm not mistaken. The Stansif got let him play it. So we'll see what the Paladin is.
Oh no, a secret.
It looks like it is. Never mind, Noxious. You were wrong. Cipher is not bringing up the mid-range. It could be kind of a mid-rangey Secret Valley deck. It's definitely possible. Orange gets the ramp. That's crucial.
Wow, this hand for Orange, like Aspirant, Innovate, and Keeper. He does actually throw away the Innovate and gets one back.
I think he kept the Innovate. It's just I think a spectator glitch. So. Something that does once in a while. I mean, Orange has the ramp that he needs, like all of it.
Not only that, he has to swipe as well. So if any Mustafa battles come down on 3, he has an immediate answer to it. So things looking really good for Orange straight away.
I mean, if you let's assume you go for a coin Aspirant, would you innervate out the Keeper to deal with the Creeper the Cipher might play? Like in this case, right? Like we have the information, of course. I think it's a difficult call to make.
I mean, with Coin Aspirant, what does a Paladin do to take care of it? Nothing. There's nothing they can really do until they develop a minion.
Yeah.
So he does gain the advantage there.
Yeah, what's good as well is that if there's a mini bot that shows up, like if you play Aspirant after mini bot, you're giving your opponent the ability to answer it with a muster for battle and finish off your Aspirant first. But if you coin it out, you get the initiative with what you want to do with the mana.
But I think Orange may favor maybe a turn 4 Dr. Boom?
Yeah, in this case it'll be turn 3, and it's actually going to work out because Cipher doesn't have the extra 2 damage he needs. Muster for battle is not enough.
Turn 3 Dr. Boom. Interesting. But he does have swipe though. He could pop the Creeper and swipe face. So.
I kind of like Dr. Boom. I mean, at this point though, Orange doesn't have the information as to exactly what that Paladin is. If he goes for Boom, and it turns out that Cipher brings out the equality, then everything's just going to go wrong from there. So there's a good argument for Orange to play it a little bit slower than maybe he likes, and as you said, pop the swipe, not go all in on the Dr. Boom, and just keep your coin, play Dr. Boom on 5, you can still ramp him out later.
A good play from Cipher there as well, using a weapon on the Aspirant, so he knows if the Creeper does get popped for any reason, be it a swipe, he can at least deal with the Aspirant. It looks like he's actually going for the Dr. Boom here.
Yeah, take advantage of the fact that you have an extra mana crystal for now, because it's gone very soon, which means you would basically lose the possibility to ramp up if you don't do this now. So I kind of understand where Orange is coming from. No equality for Cipher.
Sludge Vulture.
Yeah.
So this may be the mid-range variant that we've been talking about.
Right, I'm not sure which exact variant it is, but it's definitely on the mid-range side. However, Cipher has a perfect curve. He's got the Powdered Shredder, he's got the ability to go for the Belcher and the Mysterious Challenger. Dr. Boom is good, but is it good enough? It's one minion, and Belcher is a big problem.
Yeah, he'll still have to punch through it. No, well, he does have a Silence in hand, keep it to Grove, but then if you see a Belcher come from a Paladin, you think Tyrion, right? And then you have to consider,
exactly.
If I use my Keeper now to say, get rid of the Belcher and be able to punch through it quite cleanly, will Tyrion just ruin my day later? So a lot of things to consider when doing this sort of stuff. I think Shredder's just going to come down here. Dr. Boom is going to sit there quite happy.
And the swipe from Orange might be the card that he plays. I mean, there's a good argument, I guess, for something else. I just feel like when you have 2 of them on a board like this, and you're going to seize initiative with just having the 7/7 to kill whatever comes out of the Shredder, it's hard to decline that offer.
Oh, look at that placement of the Shredder. That is some high-level stuff right there.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's been practicing that with the guys, placing the right spot there. Get a Mech Warper. It's not too bad, I suppose. It's kind of average.
Yeah, I mean, Blessing of Kings doesn't really deal with it unless he also uses his weapon, and then you get an extra 7 damage. I think Orange's decision here to go face, I mean, I think going face is actually a skill. It's funny how many players just don't do it enough. They just don't. They play very defensively. I mean, I'm guilty of that myself. So
I think it's something to do with tournament pressure, though. If you're in a tournament, there's money on the line, or there's a trophy, or so it's something you want bad. You don't want to take as many risks, do you? Because if you take kind of high risk, high reward plays, and it ends up being a risk, and you lose a game to it, it might kind of take a bit out of your confidence for doing something similar to that next time. So it very much can come down to experience, maybe, that what experiences you've had in the past in previous tournaments where you've taken these risks and you've never really achieved anything from them.
Yeah, I know that Firebat taught Dog something very important a while back, which is just go face. If you don't know what to do, just go face. It works out most of the time because the opponent under pressure will be in the exact position that you were in a second ago. And if the board is even enough, very often it's just correct.
They'll just trade.
Pressure, yeah. And
then you do have to trade.
All right, so Orange here with the opportunity to use a Keeper, but we talked about the risks of using Keeper the Grove this early. Does it really accomplish much? I mean, it's a 2-4. Doesn't really stop the board. Might as well just kill it straight up instead of silencing. It's the same thing, basically.
Yeah, it's just doing it a different way.
It feels better when you trade before the taunt is gone. Just like emotionally. Because if the taunt's there, you're like, yeah, I mean, I have to trade. But if the taunt is... Yeah, it makes sense.
Another Belcher finds his way to his hand as well, so again, a lot slower. Mysterious Challenger's kind of... It's got a green border around it, right?
Yeah.
So just kind of
and what's cool is, like, there's this other guy there, on 7. I think he's also going to light up very soon.
Wow, that curve, eh? And he's got a full Christmas tree as well, so Repentance, which we didn't see in the previous Secret Paladin from Kalinto, I think it was, or Ties. I can't remember who.
I mean, I think 2 players today did not have the full Christmas tree.
It was Dog and
Tice.
And Tice, yeah.
Tice, yeah. Playing the mid-rangey deck, and I think Cipher's playing a mid-rangey Secret Paladin. As you can tell, Belcher is not something you see every single time. So it's definitely on the more mid-range side, which is something that I love about Secret Paladin, is that you can make it aggressive, but you absolutely don't have to. Alright, so right now, BGH could be amazing or terrible.
Well, this is it. You need that Avenge to hit the 6/6, and then BGH lines up perfectly, and you keep a solid board without the secrets doing too much work. But that Mech Warper makes things a little awkward. You can't just hero power BGH, for example.
Yeah, we'll have to see whether or not he's able to do it. I mean, either way, you can kill the Mysterious Challenger. Like, you can always use the cards that you've already got on board to finish it off. It's just that you'd rather use BGH for that purpose. So it guarantees that you're going to be a lot further ahead on board. Avenge goes. Yeah, that's rough.
Although it might be a blessing in disguise, really. Dr. Boom's coming up next turn, potentially from Cipher, having that BGH ready for that. He can just use a swipe here.
He gets a full clear no matter what. It's just that he ends up losing a lot more in the process.
I mean, Dr. Boom's done a lot of work. I mean, he's still sticking around since turn 6. Oh, he just goes face. Yeah, I like that.
Eye for an eye. No, I'm kidding.
Ooh,
the trap.
That would have been hard.
Amazing. And now Cipher is worried. Rightly so.
But now Coghammer looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Can you get a nice clean trade? But Coghammer and what?
I mean, I'd go Coghammer now. Kill off the Dr. Boom and then play Muster. Even though you override the weapon, I think
you want to guarantee the shield on him.
You've seen 2 swipes, right? So the 1/1s are going to stick around pretty much no matter what. So I think just saving up, like saving the 7/6 looks good, unless you're certain that your opponent is holding BGH. But then if BGH comes out, Dr. Boom is safe.
Exactly. You kind of, I do like the Coghammer play here. But you could just, I mean, Dr. Boom's green. You could just slam him.
Yeah, you just like trade here and Dr. Boom. It's good enough.
But you're getting to the point now where you're at 11 health. Druid, if they start drawing more cards, say from Ancient of Lore, you're worried that you're going to be taken out by the combo, so...
Any moment now.
Any moment.
Any moment now it can happen. And now, Big Game Hunter probably going to come out.
And what secret is left? The Repentance. So yeah, the Repentance hits the Big Game Hunter, which is really good as well. Doesn't hit anything of more value, like the Ancient of Lord, the Sylvanas.
Yeah, Orange is very happy about that. He's going to be mitigating the amount of value he feeds to his opponent. There's probably an argument for, if it were turn 8, to just play Sylvanas first into Repentance and then try to do some shenanigans with the Boombox and steal the Dr. Boom.
Very sneaky.
Yeah.
But you're relying on a lot of RNG, so unless like we were discussing people holding back being more defensive because of tournament pressure, I don't think anyone's going to be as brave enough to do that.
Absolutely not. So we've got the Belcher here with the Muster for Battle. Definitely a line of play that I like. Unless you want to opt for something else, I just think after 2 swipes, now's the time. You have to get it out eventually, and now's as good a time as any. I mean, you have a safe line of 1-1s. The opponent can't kill you through combo. You've got a Belcher that's protecting you, and the Cog Hammer as well for a second taunt if needed.
Yeah, it looks really good here for him. Although Orange does have some ways to find cards. You can get some card draw from the Azure Drake, can develop Daenerys if he wants, or you can just slam the Lore, get 2 cards, hopefully find that Savage Roar, so then he can start playing towards
The
a
win.
lethal.
Right. Ah, the Innervate Shade, definitely a card you're happy to see here. Cipher has the answer, but Orange wants to get that Shade to do some work, because if he doesn't go through the Belcher at all, then there's no win. And if the Belcher is alive, the combo alone doesn't do it. So he needs either the Shade or something else to be on the board at that stage.
Yeah, you definitely consecrate here, but consecrate into Shredder, into Avenge, maybe Cog Hammer.
I don't think I would use my health as a resource at this point. Right, like we talked about this a bit earlier. I think you might feel a little uncomfortable. This is the point in the game where you expect Druid to be able to kill you outright.
I think it's safe to use your dudes here, right?
You could kill them all, right?
Just use your dudes,
Yeah.
and
Shredder Avenge.
Shredder Avenge looks
Definitely.
really strong.
Yeah, you're right. Looks like a pretty safe play from Cipher. What if he wants to keep that 1-1 at all costs?
Oh, well.
I doubt it.
No. Health is a little too valuable, he thinks.
This would have been beautiful, though.
And now the pressure's on Orange here. You know, the tables have turned. We had a turn for Dr. Boom, which looked really strong. Cipher was able to sustain now with this Belcher, with the more mid-rangey stuff in the Secret Paladin.
So Sylvanas Windrunner. I mean, she could steal Belcher technically, but she has to die. And that's the problem. That's the problem you're running into. Is the only way to get her to die would be to find a Wrath. And then you'd only steal a Slime, really.
Yeah, it doesn't seem great. I mean, the problem with Orange here, he's got also another thing you need to consider is he's almost taken out as well. He's only got 10 health.
That's it, yeah.
One True Silver.
Blessing of Kings. Lots of outs here for Cipher. That is not an out, but it gives Orange the ability to actually steal a full Belcher. Funny enough, if Sylvanas ends up dying, the redemption gives Orange the possibility of maybe getting a 3-1 Belcher.
And I was speaking earlier how Paladins sometimes just don't have the reach they need to finish the game. He's 1 damage off.
But you're close enough here if you're Cipher. I mean, you've been able to dodge Druid of the Claw. That's what you didn't want to see this turn. If anything here, Druid of the Claw would have been... I mean, Druid of the Claw with something like a Shredder for 4 mana would have been very solid for Orange, but he didn't have any of that. So Cipher is still in a comfortable position. Oh, man.
And the redemption as well.
Now that's interesting because Orange could find Force of Nature for lethal, right? I mean, Keeper of the Grove. Oh my god, he found it! That's lethal! That is it! This is it!
He's thinking about Noble Sacrifice.
Well, of course he is.
So it's
So
risk,
here's the deal.
here's the risk, isn't it?
The risk is there's Noble Sack. If there's Noble Sack, then what you want to do is you want to kill your own Sylvanas to steal the Belcher. And that's your only way to win. But there's no Noble Sack.
You win.
Then you win. I think Orange has to go for something like a lot safer. Then, oh man.
Nah, just go for it.
This
He's
is
going to go for it.
He's going to play around eye for an eye. Attack with the 2/2s first. You absolutely never know. What if you kill yourself on Sylvanas?
Hey, and Orange takes a very nice draw there, getting the Silence to take out the Belcher.
Oh man, Orange playing very well. Cipher as well, I think, played very appropriately, and he ended up just a little bit shy of winning the game right away.
It was that Paladin not having the reach he needed. He needed 1 more damage, but he did stabilize really well, and Orange finding that Silence did finish it off for him. But it was still a risk for him though, because there was 2 secrets he didn't know what they were, and the risk did pay off.
Yeah, I mean you don't have the choice. If you have a 0% chance of winning versus maybe a chance of winning. I mean, I think the big question was really, do I want to try to steal the Belcher with my own Sylv by Keeper of the Groving her after attacking? Or do I want to go for the potential no Noble Sacrifices played?
It's heartbreaking though if you see a Noble Sacrifice.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I had the answer. Come on. Oh. So the Tempo Mage, a bit of a story behind it so far for Orange is he almost lost the ties. The Mage it wasn't quite performing to a standard that he felt was good enough. So he's lined it up now. He's not leaving to last.
Yeah, I think Tempo Mage, a lot of people initially, I mean, you would expect it to be favored against every single Secret Paladin out there because it kills the 1/1s, yada yada. But in truth, it's a little less simple than that. I mean, for the most part, the stickiness of the Paladin minions is what makes your life a complete nightmare. And as a result, Tempo Mage isn't doing really what you want it to. The new version playing, you know, Arcane Blast gives you a bit more of a tempo guarantee. Like being able to guarantee that you can kill something no matter what, juggler, you know, a shielded mini-bot. This is what you need to guarantee that your Tempo Mage is actually out-tempoing the Secret Paladin.
Yeah, it's getting to that point. And another thing we've seen with the Tempo Mages through this event so far is, even though they've had these amazing hands that should be able to like deal with the early game super easily, it hasn't been that simple for them. They've had to fight against certain things. Arcane Blast hasn't really played much of a role just yet. But like you said, it's very important to establish that early game board pressure. And the problem with these Tempo Mages so far is they're just not being able to fight.
Yeah.
The early game as powerful as we expected with all these cards and interactions.
Cipher here plays the Juggler on turn 1. He knows that he's going to be able to get himself a Secret Keeper with the Noble Sacrifice as a follow-up. It also prevents his opponent from playing Secrets from Hand because it will buff the Secret Keeper. It's a minor thing, but it is something to consider. And Cipher also gets a trigger from the Knife Juggler with Noble Sac, and also curving into Muster for battle. This is a dream start.
This is definitely the dream. All those knives going to be flying around, giving him a lot of pressure. He's going to have to test the trap, and the Scientist is going to go down. Might actually kill the Scientist, and he keeps the 2-1 now.
Yeah, lucky enough for Cipher, for Orange, that didn't happen, because this would have meant that there's even more things to kill with the Arcane Missiles. I'd imagine it's a good coin flip to take here. You can always, if it hits the Juggler once, which is likely, you just finish it off with a ping. Good enough.
Yeah, you have to do it. Massive Battle would have been too strong with those knives.
Alright, Cipher's got more 1/1s on the back of this, and another Secret Keeper, which I guess is fine to give to your opponent.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you'll be able to deal with it as well. You can play Muster this turn, and then next turn you can give him the Secret Keeper, and then have the 1/1s and such, hopefully, to be able to deal with it.
Yeah, Counterspell would have been pretty good here.
Well, someone's cold, starting up that fire.
What have we got here? So Flame Waker, not a play you like. Pinging things, not something you want to do. I feel like this is a perfect turn for Unstable Portal. It feels like turn 4 is a sweet spot very often for this deck. Because you get to ping something. Wow, Ancient Mage. That's not a card you see very often. Some people theorize that Ancient Mage is actually the Mysterious Challenger.
Alright, you grew up to become a mage?
Something like that. I'm not sure, because he seems confused as well. He doesn't want to tell you who he is. He says, "Who am I? Sometimes I forget things."
Maybe like Mysterious Challenger is the ultimate roleplay. He starts off as a paladin, and then he goes, "You know what? I'm older now. I'll just be a mage. It suits me well." And then when he gets even older, maybe turns undead, becomes a Forsaken. He becomes a warlock. The ultimate roleplayer.
You know, mate, that robe is quite comfortable.
That's nothing wrong with wearing a dress.
Yeah.
If you can throw fireballs, right?
It's just asserting dominance, right? That's all. If you wear a dress of your own volition, it's dominance.
It's such a strange concept for fantasy, for getting their male characters and mages to wear dresses. Like, did they think, like, I'm just much better at throwing spells?
Social conventions, Aquablad. Are you under their power?
I'd wear trousers if I was a mage, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Would you wear trousers?
It's a lot more... I guess it's easier to run with, but I guess
Dodge.
if you're a mage, you don't have to run.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, you just levitate.
Ooh, golden spellslinger.
Yeah,
that's swag.
Orange's cards are all golden. If there's ever a card you need to see in golden form, just call up Orange. He can hook you up.
Let me spectate you so I can see some golden stuff.
Man, Cipher's got a lot of 1/1s. Interestingly enough, though, Orange doesn't really have the ability, in any way, to kill them all. Even if he gets a Flame Waker with, like, say, an Arcane Missiles, it's not guaranteed to work.
It's just not efficient. It's kind of unfortunate for him. And there's a secret down as well, so this outage rate may be stopped short. Or an Avenge would be really troublesome. But he's going to have to do something, and I think Flame Waker is definitely going to be the key.
Spellslinger into... What's the name of that card? Oh, wow. Arcane Blast with spell damage. Definitely something. I was going to say Arcane Explosion off of Spellslinger.
That actually lines up really nicely, because you can Arcane Blast the Shredder and take it out cleanly. This is the first time I've ever seen Arcane Blast actually being buffed by spell damage. People just, like, the 2 damage is usually just enough.
It's usually just 2 damage, literally.
Oh.
Alright, he's gonna have to split his efforts. There's a good reason to kill the 4-3 that just got buffed, because that way, you know, there's no 2-drop coming out of it. You can still play the Flame Cannon and maybe get lucky. Or not.
No.
You still get lucky. Or not.
He had some unfortunate pings there with the Flame Waker. 1 hit face, and 2 hit the Shredder.
And Cipher with a pretty good hand, starting on turn 6.
Oh, this looks familiar.
Yeah, I've seen this before. It's called Escape Concede.
And a full Christmas tree as well, so Repentance is sitting there as well.
Cipher with the Doomsayer. Oh no, I'm so sad. I really wish.
Pint-sized cinema. We've seen this card do some work with Tom already. It's not going to really affect Cipher much, but was it the first game where Pint-sized cinema let like an Antonidas play?
Right
it was
away.
for Orange actually. Definitely. Orange actually had a good Pint-sized cinema, and now it's going to be used against him.
It doesn't do much for Cipher, but it is a card. It's a minion.
Oh man.
Spellslinger into Cone of Cold.
Yeah,
Good luck,
for it.
Friend. I mean, there's always a good reason to just play it safe and fireball things.
I mean, if you ping this guy, he'll get resurrected as well with Redemption.
You have to ping it like again afterwards, and the Avenge triggers, so like everything kind of goes wrong from there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a little bit difficult if you're in Orange's position. Do you have to really throw a Hail Mary with Spellslinger? I don't know. Maybe not just yet. Maybe when you see Dr. Boom.
Oh man, he split it up as well, which is unfortunate. He gets a ping, the challenger, but he's not dead yet. At least he's going to be sitting around.
He's got an extra turn, at the very least.
Well, this gets splits up to a 5-4, and there's a 3-3.
Yep.
So 9, he's not too far off.
4 damage off. Blessing of Kings would do it. Blessing of Kings would do it. He's 3 off right now. Dr. Boom. Seems like a good card.
Yeah, it's hovering. You know, it's highlighted green. Just play it.
This is essentially, you know, when people tell me that they think Secret Paladin is completely broken, they keep referring to, oh, turn 6 Mysterious Challenger into turn 7 Dr. Boom. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't happen very often. But when it does happen, it's true that recovering from it is a really big problem.
Brawl.
Reincarnate with what? There's literally, well, Boombot. That's pretty cool. Maybe you die. You ping your own guy, then you reincarnate the Boombot and go for that.
Oh.
Or you hope for... Not that.
A Nourish.
Oh, he's doing it. Ah, there we go. That's my boy.
Oh, man.
He could have died. He could have actually committed the honorable Sudoku, but he did not. Cipher is going to take the game finally with a Secret Paladin, and it's going to equalize the series 1-1. Both players, you know, playing still their Hunter deck. There's a Mage left for Orange. Yeah, it's looking fun. I mean, there's the Hunter left for Orange.
This is a potential for Cipher to gain his first win of the tournament. So I think this, although I think they're both important matches for both players, because this either lets Orange carry on his streak, or it gives Cipher his first win. So it's both an important game for both of them, I would say.
Yeah, Orange wants to keep the momentum going for sure. There's a really big psychological side to, you know, especially live events, I think. Psychological side to live events where, because of the crowd, you're energized. When you get the wins back-to-back, you're kind of riding the wave and just going with it. You're in the zone for the rest of the event. And that's something that you want to have on your side rather than against you.
Another thing to consider as well, if he gets a lot of his wins today, there's a strong chance that he'll qualify for the bracket on Sunday. So we can, so if he makes any mistakes tomorrow, they might not punish him as hard. So he can, he can not be relaxed, but
rest
at least
easy.
Rest easy. Yeah, he doesn't have a sleepless night tonight, thinking, "Oh man, I got to win all my games." You know, that does affect people. There's a lot of psychology to any kind of competitive sport.
Digital athletics.
Digital athletes. Yeah, I've heard them being called that. Some people don't agree that athletics or athletes should be associated with video games, but I like to think otherwise. So Raph's going to come down here, hit that mirror entity. So this is a good matchup for the Tempo Mage most of the time. The Mirror Entity does play a vital role in kind of annoying the Druid, because they just go one card each turn, yeah? One minion, one minion, one minion.
Yeah, some players think that, you know, with Patron gone, Druid would fade away, you know, because Zeus coming back, Secret Paladin is staying, so you assume Druid would leave, but if you expect Druid to stay, then Tempo Mage is definitely something you're happy to play. It's still a deck that punishes them.
And Mech Mage as well, that's another deck that gives him a hard time. So Mirror Entity for sure. I don't think Orange is running any other variants of the secrets. We haven't seen a counter spell or anything yet.
I don't think we've seen any of that, but Orange does have the removal for the Shade. Not only does he kill it, but he also took it. And now Cipher is facing down pretty much every Druid's Nightmare, which is a full board on turn 3.
And Mirror Entity to come again from the Scientist. So he's got that to worry about as well. So if he does find some way to clear the board, Scientist is going to become a problem, especially as you go later into the games where you're starting to hit stronger minions like Dr. Boom, Druidiclaw, Low-Febs with these entities.
Cipher's got the opportunity here, if he really wants to just Wild Growth, even though it's mediocre. The idea is that you play Wild Growth just to curve into Force of Nature to clear up some of the board. Not a lot of it, but some of the board. And maybe that buys you the time that you need. But when you've got a curve like this, you know, you get a Shade, it's nothing massive, but it's enough. And then you can follow it up with Low-Theb. It's preferable.
A reassuring nod from Orange there, where he finds the Shredder off the top. Just building this board, keeping the pressure on. Then to 16 health already. Fireball, Frostbolt in hand. So much burst.
12 damage burst. Basically, Orange, all he has to do is get in another 5 damage, maybe to account for a hero power being weaved in by Cipher. But otherwise, he can just play from hand and win.
He can just go face.
Yeah, he can literally just go face. And Cypher's got nothing to say about it. He just has to sit there. Maybe you throw the Hail Mary on the Shredder here. Maybe this is the time.
Doomsayer?
I think this is what you've got to do. You've got nothing else to do. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Parrot's not great, but
you know, Doomsayer is exactly what Cipher needed. That or Explosive Sheep that you can use your hero power on to finish it off. Here, though,
just hoping that nothing can stop it.
I think. So Fireball this guy and then double Frostbolt face. I think that's lethal right there. And Orange just takes it on turn 5.
Such a quick game, considering the first match they had. So where's the Tempo Mage kind of fell short last game. This game, it just steamrolled the Druid.
It got a good matchup, and that's exactly what you want. Again, here, you're in a Conquest format, you're bringing lineups against other lineups. You're not necessarily bringing a deck for its own sake like you would in Last Hero Standing. So Orange with the Mage is doing pretty well. It's funny to see that everybody banned Warrior besides Stan Sifka. Nobody really wants to play against it.
And Stan Sifka has a 100% win rate so far.
Yeah, he won one match.
He's 3-0 though as well,
yeah.
So maybe his strategy will work. So now we have the Hunter left with Orange, the Stranglethorn Tiger, which we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, pretty cool card, guarantees some face damage, plays into, it gives you the ability to control the board a little bit. You know, if you get it out early, you can deal with Belchers preemptively. You don't rely on Low-Theb for curving on turn 5, which again is one of those problems sometimes with Hunter, where your turn 5 can be a little funky.
Alright, here we go. This could be Orange's chance to secure yet another win, but Cypher's not going to go down without a fight. Druid's going to line up into the Hybrid Hunter, and this is going to be tough for Cipher.
It's funny because you would think, you know, mid-range Hunter used to be just very, very favored against Druid, but you know, the Aspirant changes the early game just a little bit, enough that you're able to always have a small body on the board to contest those early jugglers, the mad scientists. It's not, you know, revolutionary, but it's definitely something that helps the matchup tremendously. And Orange's curve is likely going to be rather aggressive. So when you can get those Aspirants out, you're going to be in a good spot.
And Aspirant has influenced this matchup, any matchup really, a lot. Before, you wouldn't keep Quick Shot in your hand as Hunter because you had nothing to shoot. But now, Orange kept the Quick Shot. He didn't mulligan it away because he knows if an Aspirant comes down, he has to deal with it immediately.
But there's no way you can actually afford letting it sit there. Now he knows there's no Aspirant, probably, because he would have expected maybe a coin Aspirant. It's not a guaranteed thing, but you would expect it. And Cipher with the Innervate Keeper of the Grove here, the game is playing this for him.
Or double Innervate, coin, Ancient of War.
Yeah.
That's full man mode, but I think the keeper's
man
fine.
mode, yeah, with Hunter's Mark, you're just like, you know what, I'm just throwing this in. If it works, then so be it. All right, Misha would be a pretty good outcome here for Orange. He's probably looking for that. Leok is not quite it. It is, however, not a card that just dies right away, and it threatens a Houndmaster.
So he does kind of push the Ciphers, saying, well, do I have Houndmaster? Do you need to deal with it? And at least it doesn't die straight away to the Keeper. I mean, or it doesn't just get Raft straight off the top, but like a Huffer would. I mean, you want to fight for board with this Hunter straight away. He's not really in a situation where Huffer would have been good, but Misha, like you said, would have just been great.
Yeah, I mean, if Cipher here goes for something like a coin swipe, let's assume he does go for that, then, you know, Orange is overall pretty happy. I mean, he can play Shredder to contest the 2-4, he gets the initiative, he's got double quick shot, the ability to maybe use one of them for card draw at some point. So if the 2-4 dies here, it's not going to be the biggest deal.
He just plays on curve, though. He's not bothered about the Leok.
Yeah, good play.
Maybe Cipher's seen enough of this Hunter from his first game when he had retired, he was watching it, that he's not afraid of Houndmaster just yet.
And rightfully so. It's not here yet. Now, does Orange go for a Haunted Creeper quick shot or just a single Shredder, which is the typical play on this turn? He's going to go for the Shredder. I guess it works.
Yeah, Shredder seems fine. Very stable body. This is the Aspirant we've been talking about a lot, but a little bit late. So, Innovate Coin, Ancient War is a thing. I guess you could coin as your Drake, which is fine as well. You can still innovate Ancient of War next turn if you need to, or you can start doing some swiping, see what you can clear out.
I don't mind swipe at all. The thing is, you have to basically attack into the Shredder with your Keeper if you want to do this, to guarantee that the entire board is wiped. But playing the Ancient of War is what costs you the less resources and the less uncertainty as well. The Shredder uncertainty is a really big deal sometimes.
Yeah, he's just going for it now. Hunter's Mark is not something we've seen in Orange's deck yet. We haven't seen his holdout. We haven't seen enough games to really get a good idea on the list. And I like that he's cleaning up with Leok here, so he's just protecting his Ancient War as much as possible.
So Iron Beak Owl here would be amazing for Orange, but he doesn't have it. Cipher doesn't mind too much. If the Owl comes out, then the swipe would have been fine. So I think that's what motivated the plays that he made. This
is super awkward for Orange. You don't want to leave the Shade alive, so it might just be Quick Shot Haunted Creeper here. Freezing Trap wouldn't really achieve much just yet.
Freezing Trap would be great if the only thing left were the Ancient of War, and the only way you're going to do that is if you're using a Quick Shot on 6 to remove the Ancient of the Keeper of the Grove then. Because you don't want to return the Keeper of the Grove to your opponent's hand if you've got a board that's remotely vulnerable to it. You'd rather just maybe punish him for innervating and coining out this big drop.
Yeah, that's a withdraw. Wild Growth, not really great now, but he has the Azure Drake now if he wants it. He has a swipe if he wants to, so he could clear the Creeper, swipe the Shredder, and let the Ancient of War deal with what comes out.
I like that. I think that's the play you'd like to make if you're going to go for swipe. Is the Azure Drake ever better? That's really the question you have to ask yourself here, is how often is Azure Drake really doing more for me than a swipe? Swipe lets you keep the board no matter what. Drake also does. But you're giving the Hunter the opportunity to get, you know, a slightly better unleash.
I think you still pop the Creeper here, just to deactivate Kill Command. Because if you pop the Creeper, you'll have 6 power on board.
Instead, yeah, I understand.
So, but now he can actually just Kill Command and trade everything. But even then, you're trading everything. But the Death Rattles will give you a bit of sustain.
I mean, Kill Command, trade, it lets you play a quick shot afterwards, so that's okay. And if there's spell damage out of this Shredder, this could be crazy. It is not. It is not spell damage, because spell damage would have made quick shot deal, Kill Command deal 6, and quick shot deal 4 to the Drake, which would have been completely insane.
So this would have been a very different outcome if he had cleared the Haunted Creeper, because he wouldn't have had enough damage to clear the War, and the War would still be sitting there.
Yeah.
Ooh, swipe looks pretty tasty.
I'd take it. You can play the Aspirant just because.
Swipe Aspirant looks really good.
I mean, is Sylvanas Windrunner just bad? Because you could just literally play Sylvanas and attack into the 1-3.
The thing with swiping over Sylvanas is the resources of the Hunter are getting quite thin anyway, and keeping the board I think is just more important.
Yeah, plus you're playing around something like a Freezing Trap. Like in this case, you're playing around it because the thing you'll return is going to be very cheap, so you're not losing too much by doing so. It's much safer to just go for the Aspirant.
And keeping the board nice and clean here, 2 turns time, your opponent has to consider Force of Nature combo from there onwards, so there's a lot more pressure coming just from
Just to play passively.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, yeah, I like that from Cipher.
Now Cipher's looking at 11 damage. If he wants to use it, he's more than welcome to.
Slam Sylvanas Hero Power, hit the face, and then just see if Orange has any way to respond to this huge board that Cipher's developed.
One of the things that Orange could do here, technically, is get a Houndmaster, but because Sylvanas is here, that option has also been taken out. Oh! That would have been useful a lot earlier.
Yeah, it's not quite enough now. I mean, if you don't want to get taken out, I guess you could silence Sylvanas, maybe trade, freeze and trap, and then...
Yeah, technically you're alive, right?
Technically, yeah.
Alive. If you don't know what's in your opponent's hand, you expect to maybe live an extra turn.
But it's not really a winning play, is it? I mean, how do you win from here? I just don't know. He's just so far
it's
behind.
all but over. We're going through the motions at this stage. I think Orange is going to have Cipher equalize the series against him. Looks like Cipher's got a potential comeback for 3-2.
I know, and this was very much the same direction the game went for Orange. Like he went up quite early against Ties.
Yeah.
But he almost came back. But Orange managed to squeeze the win. So maybe this time Orange will fall short and Cipher will prevail, or Orange will keep its consistency.
Cipher just needs not to make the mistake of attacking with Sylvanas first. That is the only thing he can't afford. Alright, he didn't make the mistake, so Cipher is going to be equalizing the series, and he's getting himself, he's got to play against the Hunter again. I think he's got his own Hunter, if I'm not mistaken.
That's true, and we didn't actually see Cipher's Hunter before, did we? Because it got banned.
Yeah, it got banned by Stan Sivka.
So this is a completely new thing for Orange to encounter. He doesn't know what type of Hunter it is, what cards it has, what choices have been made, because there's no video footage that has been streamed yet that Orange can use as a resource. So
yeah, we'll see what Cipher... I mean, we saw Face Hunter, right? A lot of people think Face Hunter right now on ladder is amazing, in tournament play as well. Hybrid, some people are hesitant about, and I think ultimately it's a preference choice. Some people just love mid-range, some people just prefer the aggressive ones. With the absence of Patron and the fact that you can ban it, Face Hunter and Hybrid Hunter just look a lot better.
yeah, I agree with that. And looking at Orange's hand, this is an example of a really strong Hybrid Hunter opening hand, whereas Cipher... so this is definitely more mid-range then, right? The Elk kind of tells us that.
I'd assume so, yeah. I mean, unless he's playing a special brew. I know Fate to Karma, they've got deck builders, they've got some fancy things coming. We see some fancy things coming from them sometimes. But overall, I think it just looks too much like a mid-range not to be.
And the faster Hunter traditionally does win in the mirror, because you just go face.
That's what they say.
That's what they say, that's true. And Kalento was on the way to winning
Oh my goodness.
that mirror until the Dread Scale coming down and became the mini Barangeddon, the bane of Kalento.
Digital Athletics.
Digital Athletics, he had good RNG and he worked hard for it.
That's a Cipher here with the grueling decision to make. Do I trade that Lepronome or do I not? Yeah, you really don't have the choice. I mean, alternatively, what would you want from King's Elec? Your two biggest drops probably are already in your hand. Juggler forces a response from your opponent, but it could also be used later with something like Unleash the Hounds. So there's a lot of merit to just playing the Elec here, if you want to keep the Juggler for a combo play.
Dog mentioned earlier in one of the interviews that trap variation in, or secret variation in decks is one of the keys to not being predictable in tournament. So I'm curious to know if Cipher has adopted this in his own playstyle, not from Dog, but from his own development as a player.
Right.
And I wonder if he's kind of mixed things up. We've seen some snakes from Kalento, we've seen some snakes from Dog as well. But it looks like it's a good old freeze and trap.
And out comes Huffer, forcing the trade from Cipher. Cipher here, if he picks up a quick shot, is going to be in a great spot. But he does need to pick it up. Oh, when he gets it, that's going to give him the ability to wipe the Huffer and also play the Juggler, developing a board that's much stronger than what Orange has right now.
You just giving Cipher some power here. You say quick shot and it appears.
It's the caster curse.
Oh, he's cursed.
It
Poor
happens
Orange.
to everyone. Alright, so I feel like Animal Companion coin quick shot looks okay to me. We'll see.
Huffer? Hey,
Always
caster curse.
Huffer. Do you just hit face again with that other Huffer? You just killed the...
Wait, where's this quick shot going? Oh, yeah, of course.
I
thought he went
face.
face there. I was thinking, wow, Orange just going for it.
Yeah.
He is not scared of anything.
Oh, the Houndmaster.
He let the dogs out, and I
Yeah.
think that's what's going to happen here.
Do you just I like Houndmaster go face, or do you make the trade and then play Houndmaster as a tempo play? I think there's a good argument for keeping it. I mean, for just playing it as a 4-3 and trading first. It avoids the Ironbeak Owl shenanigans, the kill commands on your minion shenanigans. I'm not sure.
You can't trade forever, though, in this mirror. You do need to start putting on pressure.
Yeah, with the double high main, I think the pressure will go your way on the following turn. Orange, however, with the Stranglethorn high main, they're both trading pressure, and who's going to win the race? I suspect Cipher with the first high main gets an edge. Kill command, again, hasn't been played yet, so he's going to be able to get an extra 5 damage, and that's going to propel him a little bit ahead of his opponent, damage-wise.
So if he's going to hit face here for 4, taking the 18, high main comes down. Orange is not really going to want to trade, but with a kill command in hand from Cipher, he's going to be, well, pretty close to lethal as long as he finds maybe another quick shot.
Yeah, I think he's really close to lethal. It's just, right now, he's one off lethal. What he needs to find is just a tiny bit more damage. Abusive Sergeant, as you said, Glaivezuka would also do it. Orange has to make the decision, do I trade with the 4-3, remove some damage off the board, play high main, and I initiate the trading game? Is that worth it? Do I just quick shot, play the creeper, and like hero power? There's a few decisions that he's got to make.
Now he's just going for it. The race is on between these two players.
And Cipher could pick up the lethal here. We'll see if he gets it. And that is 2 damage. No, that's not it. But it's good. It's a good card. It's a pretty good card.
It's not quite there, but it definitely gives him a little bit more of an edge, being able to taunt at the high main, slamming him for 8 instead of 6.
I mean, you can kill command the 5-5 too if you'd like, right? You just Houndmaster the high main.
Kill command the 5-5. Force him.
Face.
Yeah. Force his high main to trade into his. Well, he can't actually. He needs some assistance.
You need more than that, exactly. He needs to find an extra bit of damage just to kill the high main. That doesn't even go through the board, so he needs to find at least unleash the hound right away.
I really like that.
Yeah, I think that's it's a line of play that I think is the highest pressure you can put.
Houndmaster on each side. Kill command does go find its way to the Stranglethorn Tiger, like we were saying, and this is
Dr. High main.
Dr. High main.
Dr. Beast.
This is when Scar does become the Lion King. I mean, look at him. He's giant.
Alright, so what do you do if you're orange here? Do you even have a piloted Shredder quick shot play that would save you? I cannot think of one. And you could technically get Direwolf Alpha to kill the high main, but you're still dead. Or Flame Tongue Totem.
I hope he tries it anyway.
Yeah, I want to see Laura Walker Cho.
Laura Walker Cho. Oh no.
Did I miss it?
Orange is shaking his head a little bit. I think he understands that it's very hard for him to deal with this.
I think it's the weight of the headphones. It's not, actually. He does lose, and Cipher will take the series. Orange losing the momentum that he was absolutely looking for.
Well, they're both 1-1 now, so they're both still in the game, still in the round robin. And it was a really tough series. I mean, that Houndmaster made a huge difference in that final game. And now Cipher claims his first victory of the tournament.
Yeah, and we'll see him, tell us a little bit about how he felt about this. So he doesn't get too shy. I don't want him to get word shy. I want to hear his thoughts.
All right, so Cipher, what are you going to tell us?
He's rehearsing.
In his head.
Exactly. Representing the team, pretty good.
Thank you very much. Congratulations on the winning. This was a very, very long series. Have you had a feeling that you can lose at one time?
Oh, there were so many points I thought I was going to lose. There was so many very close games in that series.
And this is your first win for today. Describe your feelings. Are you happy?
Oh, it's nice to get the first win under the belt. After going 0-3 the first game, I was really, really, nervous. It's like, am I going to go out 0-4? So it's nice to get the first win.
Okay, and I know that you had less time to prepare for this tournament than other players did. Did it had any impact on your game today?
No, I still had over a week to prepare, so I felt pretty ready when I submitted my deck list. So.
Okay, congratulations again. Thank you.
All Alright, Cipher, you know, he looks happy. At least, yeah, you didn't want to go for the 0-2, lose your first 2 matches. That just doesn't feel good. Doesn't mean you're out. It just means you're going to be fighting an uphill battle for the rest of the event. And he's dodged at least that fate.
Yeah, he said he didn't want to go 0-4. He doesn't want to, you know, go out without a fight.
Yeah.
And he's not out, though. He still has a very good chance. I mean, he's 1-1. He could still get into the bracket on Sunday. So if he keeps fighting, keeps playing well, we might see him there.
Yeah. So we'll be taking a short break, guys, before the next match. We have more matches coming after that, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the break.